filmen. Hi everybody, welcome to the Sanctuary of Aphaia. The area in front of the temple is about 490 BC. So here you can see fully constructed area of Nomos Athens. And it says here the entrance of the temple, predicted surrounded by high walls, was on the south side of the consistency of gateway profilon built of limestone. All-Shatar blocks. Its open fortress support on a pair of 8-sided columns. 4 steps led to the level of the temple and was raised table with wing walls, protected from the wind. The preachers approached by means of steps in front of the altar was a rectangular pavement where the sacrifice was prepared. 4 bases of the western edge was held statues. Highway connected to the altar, and the temple serves as a sloping ramp up to the temple and the 2 small footages near the altar, and the gateway were exhibited sculpture figure groups. It stood since the 570 before Christ. The cistern nearby a hole of a rock, and the retaining wall was supplied with rainwater from the temple. So you can see down here, the house is in front, the southern corner of the sanctuary, probably served officially priest house. So that side there, the sanctuary will consider a circle of ashlar box with plastered mud, bricks and substructure. Quite windy today. I don't know if it's always like this, but it's on 160 meters, and you can see over there little islands, the ferry boats crossing over there, and it's lovely up here, fresh air, pine trees, absolutely amazing. And you can't believe how ancient this place is. And when you're here, you can just relax. You can see Athens and all the boats, Imperial Harbour. So it's not far away. It's an hour and a half or 30 minutes by quick ferry. The entrance here is 10 euros, so much cheaper than the Acropolis, which is 30 euros and massive queues. And in my opinion, this temple is actually far better condition. Would be nice if they restored it completely, but as it is, it's built from local limestone and covered with paint stucco, finished and decorated painted elements in red and black. The temple originally had 6 columns on the short side, and there were 12 each along side, totaling 32, which around 24-25 remains standing today. Temple used today was built around 500 BC, but it was built back to the Bronze Age over 3,000 years ago. It was dedicated to the local goddess Aphaia, who later became associated with Athena and Artemis. Look closely and you'll notice how the corner columns slightly thicker and all lean inwards. Ancient engineering trick to make the temple appear perfectly balanced. Temple pediments tell stories of Trojan Wars, showing Athena watching over Aegina heroes. The original sculptures are now in Munich, but you can still see the power of the myth, history in the ruins. What's fascinating is the temple aligns with two others, the Parthenon in Athens and the Temple of Sounion, forming a sacred triangle across the region. If you visit the Temple of Aphaia, remember there's a museum also, don't miss it. It's in the back end of the temple and it's worth visiting, so definitely make a point of that and don't forget. Inside we'll get a closer look at the original sculpture, artifacts and pieces of temple that tell the story of how ancient Greeks worshipped here. On the left cabinet is broken vases and tools, and on the right is fragments from the roof. In front of us is a wooden scale model of the Temple of Aphaia. This really helps us understand the layout and engineering of the sanctuary. You can see the entire structure, the way it's originally stood, its columns, the inner chambers, and the overall symmetry that defines the Doric architecture. What's most interesting is the layout of the building. Outer rings of columns forms the peristyle, creating a shaded walkway around the temple. Inside is the main cellar, the inner room, where the cult statue of the goddess Aphaia stood. Only priests and selected attendees were allowed in that space. At the front and back, the model shows two triangular pediments that once held elaborate sculptures. Above everything, the roof was made from wooden beams covered with terracotta tiles, designed both durability and keep interior cool during the hot Aegean summers. Here's how the Temple of Aphaia would have looked in ancient times. The columns you see were made from local limestone, but they were left bare. They were fully coated in a bright white plaster, giving the whole temple a clean, glowing finish. The pediments above were painted a strong, vivid red, creating a dramatic contrast with white columns. And the sculptures inside those pediments, they were carved from high-quality Parian marble known for its fine shine surface. So the temple wasn't plain stone, it was colorful, bold, and full of life. Here on the far right of the pediment is the archer, crouched and aiming into battle, and the right beside him is the fallen soldier, collapsed at the corner, showing the cost of war. These are the real sculptures. The archer's pose hugs the slopes of the pediment. The fallen soldier's dramatic collapse fills the edge. Together they bring the moment of the Trojan War vividly to life. You can see Athena standing in the middle of the arch, holding a shield and spear. The eagle at her feet, she dominates the scene, commanding the battle around her. And right here in the museum is the actual statue. Notice the restored shield shows you how the sculpture originally designed it to hold it, maintaining the dynamic, balanced composition of the pediment. Seeing the partial reconstruction of the east pediment with a figure of Heracles as an archer and a dying warrior. Artificial stone cast original in the deck in Munich. Only the upper torso of the dying warrior is original. It was found in the forest below the temple, 1978. The techniques of fixing the figure in pediment floor is clearly recognizable on the pediment roof, raking corners. The Sima marble edge tiles the gable end, and the clay tiles behind are missing. So again, we have decorations where you can see right on top here of the temple, and unfortunately the heads are missing, but still most of it is intact.
except for the mural that's in the middle. Yes, they preserved that. And outside the little museum, you can see beautiful views of Aegina.
Hope you enjoyed the Temple of Aphaia. If you're visiting Aegina, don't miss the incredible spot. And the best part of it is the short trip from Athens. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe and join me in the next adventure. Yassas!